A really sad day for the performing arts community in Canada. Tell me a little bit about just your personal connection and knowing Graham Greene.
Well, we've known Graham for many years. He and his wife, Hillary, were fixtures in this country, as you can imagine. I can tell you a couple of funny stories. One, we happened to get our Order of Canada exactly at the same time. And when you walk into the room, everyone's going, "Oh my God, I shouldn't be here. Look at all these amazing people." But the one person that everyone knew for sure should be there was Graham Greene. He was just absolutely an icon.
You know, when you said humor, one of the things that someone wrote in to tell us today, or comment, was they talked about him being the wittiest, the wiliest, and the warmest person that they could remember. That kind of speaks to what you suggested.
No, he was extraordinary. I'll tell you another story about the Governor General's Awards. There was a young actor named Joshua Ojik. He's just terrific. He's coming up like crazy. And Joshua was shooting Bon Cop, Good Cop in the Gas Bay and came up overnight to be at the Governor General's Awards. He walked into the room and there was Tom Jackson and Graham Greene. He couldn't have been more thrilled to be in that company. But the important thing at the end of the day was Graham was thrilled to meet Joshua. The two of them just bonded. Graham has always said that it's about the tracks you leave. You don't have rights, you have obligations to the children who come behind you. And Graham was just so thrilled to meet this young actor who is obviously on a great trajectory that at the end of the day, you have to understand Graham broke that ground.
Yeah, he did. When you think about those decades of iconic roles. Knowing a little bit about how the GGs functions, they have the big awards, and then the very next day you start the selection process for the next years. Tell me about the discussion of when you landed on Graham Greene to receive a GG, and what the debate was, and why you wanted to honor him in this way, why you thought it was important, and why he was deserving, Doug.
Well, he was certainly very, very deserving. The GGs are very hard to get. It's the highest honor in Canada for the performing arts. And there's a public nomination process, and then it goes to juries of the peers in each of the disciplines. And then it comes to us to make the final selection. And we only have 5 Lifetime Achievement Awards to distribute each year. And we have many, many more artists who are deserving of it. So when it comes down to who actually gets the final nod, they really have to be above and beyond. It's not just they've had a great performance year. It's the legacy. It's what they've left that will live forever. And Graham's contribution, again, he didn't just play Indigenous characters. Yes, that was a huge breakthrough to have Indigenous actors playing Indigenous characters. Graham played a whole range of characters, and he loved playing good guys and bad guys, and working with the kind of people that he worked with. Obviously, Kevin Costner, but Tom Hanks, Jodie Foster. He was up there as one of the great authentic actors.
We're looking at him with Steve Smith on the Red Green Show. Hilarious when he talked about explosives as well, the whole other aspect. So for the GGs, there's the big gala at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa, but the night before is when the actual medal is bestowed. We were looking at that picture of Governor General Mary Simon hanging Graham Greene's around his neck. And that's when you hear from the recipients. So I'm just going to play a little clip, Doug, if I could, about how the decision to stay in Canada, despite the opportunities and even the pressure to go elsewhere. So let's listen to this, and then we'll talk about it in a moment.
So I worked all around the world. People always said, "You should move to Los Angeles." And I said, no, I don't like Los Angeles. I hate New York. I don't like any of those places. I was born in Canada, and I'm here to stay here, and that's it.
Can hear how popular that statement was with those who were in attendance that night. His connection to Canada, his desire to stay here and contribute to the cultural fabric here, how important was that to him?
Oh, that was enormously important to him. You know, Canada's a very unusual country. We call it an arts nation. Everyone thinks we're a hockey nation. But some years ago, MIT did a study of who are the best-known people around the world from 160 countries. And Canada was the only country where all 10 of the best-known Canadians were artists. And Graham Greene was one of those artists who was known around the world. His impact was huge, but he was Canadian through and through.
So we will be covering today his passing and paying tribute to him, many aspects of his legacy, and hearing from what our viewers are remembering. As we're speaking on the screen, Doug, we're running some of the notes that people have sent in to us this morning to pay tribute. What do you think you'd like to leave with us as what you'd like us to remember of Graham Greene?
Well, in the First Nations culture, broadly speaking, there's this notion of 7 generations. You should always be thinking about 7 generations before you and 7 generations after you. And Graham lived and breathed that. He was always concerned about the kids coming up behind him and trying to have a positive influence, chart a path, that anything is doable. And I think, that's a pretty good legacy.
It is indeed. How wonderful that you honored his whole body of work just this year. And he was there to receive that and know to that degree how highly regarded in this country. Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate the time with you this morning.
Thanks, Heather. Nice to talk to you.